Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Doc Watkins Show. I'm your host, Doc Watkins, and we've got a great show ahead for you tonight. It's more special requests by you, our viewers. Thanks for the requests. Our special guest tonight is comedian and actor Mr. Allan Havey, and also you'll notice in just a minute I am joined by my very good friends Brandon Guerra on the drums and Mike Porter on the bass. After 10 long weeks of separation, we are finally back together for the first time. The Doc Watkins Trio rides again this evening, so thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to get to the music in just a minute, but first, let's have a look at the Jazz Texas news. NFL quarterback Tom Brady is selling his pimped-out Cadillac Escalade for $300,000. Brady says he plans to take the $300,000 from the sale and donate it towards Lori Loughlin's daughter getting into USC. Zoom has reported a record number of jazz musicians using their virtual platform for live online concerts. Unfortunately, most of these scheduled gigs are starting late because the bass players couldn't find parking. Martha Stewart's latest risque-sounding Instagram post is making headlines. It reads, and I quote, "Martha pounding butterflied chicken breasts, wishing she was pounding someone's." Meanwhile, all accusations of pounding chicken breasts have been denied by former Today Show host Matt Lauer. Part 2 of ESPN's new documentary about Lance Armstrong airs this Sunday. For fans of competitive cycling, the series contains exclusive, never-before-seen moments of Lance Armstrong lying his hiney off. After 15 years, Mike Tyson is reported to be making a return to the ring. While most of the world expected Tyson's comeback to happen in boxing, he's actually planning to face off against wrestling legend Chris Jericho. The fighters will be encouraged to social distance during this bout, not because of COVID-19, but to ensure Tyson doesn't bite off Jericho's ear. And finally, according to NASA, the recent Elon Musk rocket launch was called off due to inclement weather. And by weather, they mean whether or not the rocket can actually make it into outer space without needing an electricity charge like a Tesla. The SpaceX launch was suddenly postponed when NASA Flight Control said, "Houston, we have a problem," which actually was a reference to the Houston Astros getting caught cheating. If the Musk rocket does not successfully reach its destination, it won't be Texas's first multi-million-dollar fiasco that failed to accomplish its mission. And that's it for the Jazz Texas News. And now we turn to the music. We are so happy to be here with you. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Doc Watkins Show. Please share with all your friends. Make sure and comment. Tell us where you're coming from, where you're watching from. We'd like to start out with a tune that we wrote about a year ago called The Slow Burn. It's a nice little trio tune. This one's all about patience. And I'm so excited to be back here with Brandon and Mike on the bass and drums, so I hope you enjoy this tune.
Yeah.
That's a tune called The Slow Burn. Brandon Guerra on the drums, Mike Porter on the bass. Thank you very much, everybody. We're going to do another original tune first, but before we do, I want to give a big shout out to my main man back there operating the cameras, doing all the legwork behind the scenes, Mr. Chris Science. He's with Wizard Broadcasting. Look him up. He's all over the internet and on Facebook and everything, and he's a terrific individual to work with, so check him out. Thank you, Chris. This next tune actually got another request. We've been getting a lot of requests for this song, so we're going to keep playing it. This one's for Hildebrand Avenue, and it goes out to Cindy Williamson. And Hildebrand Avenue is a tune that we wrote and recorded about a year ago, along with that last tune. And I played this one solo piano on the last episode, but I want to play it with my buddies here up on the bass and drums. So Cindy, thank you for the request. This is Hildebrand Avenue. Thank you very much, everybody. That's Hildebrand Avenue by special request to Cindy. Cindy, thank you so much for the request. That's Mike Porter on the bass. Brandon Guerra on the drums, joining me for the first time in about 10 weeks. And it's so good to have them back here in the house with us. A lot of you have been asking, what have Mike and Brandon been up to? Have they been occupying their time with anything in particular? And as it turned out, Mike and Brandon have had a really busy season the last few weeks. They actually started to explore the professional bounty hunting industry and are doing terrific at it. They're some of the scariest looking bounty hunters I've ever seen. And as it turns out, we were actually able to capture some footage of the guys hard at work. Chris, do we have that clip we can pull up there? That's Mike Porter, Brandon Guerra, professional bounty hunters and jazz musician extraordinaires. Okay, we're going to get back to some music now, and we would like to, also we want to thank Alamo Music for this piano. We have a brand new, shiny Kawai grand piano here that's been here for the past couple weeks, and thank you all so much for providing this instrument for us for these broadcasts. Once again, that's Alamo Music, doing a terrific job here in San Antonio for many, many years, so thanks to Kevin and to Adriana and to the whole team over there. This next tune goes out to Judith and George Schroeder, some very dear friends of ours here at Jazz Texas. We want to send this one out to you guys. Thanks for tuning in. This is a Duke Ellington tune called Satin Doll. Satin Doll by Duke Ellington. That one went out to Judith and to George Schroeder. Thanks, you guys, so much for the request. And now, ladies and gentlemen, my special guest for this evening is an accomplished comedian and actor. You may recognize him as Don Draper's boss on Mad Men, or from his guest starring roles on The Office and Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's not only a great comedian with numerous appearances on Comedy Central and David Letterman, but he's currently on the hit Showtime series Billions. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, from his home in Santa Monica, California, a guy who's a huge baseball fan and terrified of tadpoles, the always hilarious Mr. Allan Havey. How you doing, Allan?
I'm good, Doc. How are you?
I'm doing great.
That sounded great, guys. And listen, I know you're jazz musicians. I don't want to get a contact high. So I've been off the gauge.
What's the deal with the tadpoles? Let's get right after it.
I have no idea how you found that out.
Well, but, you gave an interview in Esquire magazine, and it ended up on your Wikipedia page that you have a fear of tadpoles. But is that
no, that is true. Ever since I was a little kid, we got these tadpoles, and then I saw the legs sticking out, and it flipped me out.
Are you afraid of the frogs too?
No, not frogs, just the little bastards that are becoming frogs. It
but
scared
you know that
me.
That's what they end up being at the end of the day. It's like being afraid of the cheese, but not the cows.
Doc, I was a child, okay? I was just a kid.
When you gave the Esquire interview?
Yes, when I gave the the tadpole thing. I can't eat chicken wings now without a blindfold. Let me put it that way.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, it's to each his own. Let me ask you, with the current economy, you are a co-star in the hit series Billions. The current economy, do you think they're going to change the name to Millions?
No, they're going to change it to Thousands.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No. There's always going to be billionaires. This is a period, and you guys know this, being self-employed, where during these times, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So I think Billions is even going to be more contemporary and hip after the pandemic. By the way, you guys sound great.
Thank you very much.
I love jazz, and and I'm real excited about seeing the rest of that Bounty Hunter series.
Well, thank you. I know you're a big jazz fan. Who's the best jazz musician that you ever saw live in concert?
Listen, I opened for Maynard Ferguson, and I opened for Buddy Rich.
Oh man!
And by far one of the best performers I've ever seen is Buddy Rich.
Yeah.
I mean, it was at the Bottom Line in New York back in the mid-'80s, and I watched both shows, and he gave me a set of his sticks after the second show.
Wow.
That I treasured to this day, because my dad was a drummer back in the day, but he saw Buddy Rich as a young man. He kind of gave it up after he saw Buddy Rich.
Yeah, I can understand.
I have a godson who's a drummer, so for his birthday one year, I gave him Buddy Rich's sticks.
So as a comedian, you've got to be familiar with the Buddy Rich tapes.
Oh yeah. There's nothing that I love, whether it's Buddy Rich or Mel Gibson. I love to hear people losing their mind in anger. Sometimes to go to sleep at night, I'll put on the Buddy Rich tapes, and it really knocks me out. It's so relaxing.
So for those who are watching who don't know what the Buddy Rich tapes are and how they came about and they influenced Seinfeld and everything, what was it like? Tell us about how those tapes came about in New York City in the 80s.
Hold on, let me just put this up here. Buddy would ream out his band. He would get them on the bus and ream them out or stop the bus. And guys, back then everybody had a Walkman. So they would surreptitiously tape him. And you might have to explain to the drummer what surreptitiously means, but they would tape him just losing his shit. And sorry about the language, but that's really the only way to explain it. And it was so much fun. And then the more he talked, the more it would build. It would be like the composition Bolero by Ravel, where it just gets bigger and bigger, and it was fantastic to see, people be human.
Yeah. There's an alto saxophone player here in San Antonio. His name's Rich Oppenheim, and he's from New York City, and he played in Buddy Rich's band for about 6 months, and he was on the tour bus when some of those those excoriating scenes came about. And I remember one time, this was probably 7 or 8 years ago, we were on a gig, and we were on the break, and everyone's saying, "Hey, Rich, tell us about the Buddy Rich. You know, what was that like?" And we're all laughing, and you know, because it's hilarious to it. And Rich told us the stories, and he didn't laugh and he didn't smile at all. And we're like, you know, isn't that funny to you? And he says, man, if you were there wasn't anything funny about it. It was like, I mean, because he just would pick on the youngest guy and just, you know, the guy was crazy, and he's a great drummer too.
Well, he demanded perfection.
Yeah,
And from his musicians, and he was young guys, and he would get mad that they wouldn't practice.
yeah.
And I remember one time between shows at the Bottom Line, one of the guys went in the dressing room and says, "Buddy wants to see us on the bus," and they all just went, "Oh no," because they knew what was coming. But he was brilliant. I mean, he was there. He was present every single second, every beat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of jazz performers, I've been told that you do a great Bing Crosby impression. Would you be willing to do that for us now?
No, I would not, because that is you're just not paying me. You're not paying me enough.
What about, I also heard a Johnny Carson impression. You do a Carson.
Why don't I do Bing?
You want to do Bing instead?
Yeah, how about Bing Crosby?
Okay, yeah, why don't you do Bing? That's a great idea.
So if Bing were alive and he turned on the Doc Watkins Show, it would go something like this. Oh, you cats are really swinging. Oh, that bass player's got to go. He's holding you back. That's my Bing Crosby. I don't know about that show. Couple of guys on horses. A little weird. That's the best thing. Here's my, if Johnny Carson were still alive and doing a show and the pandemic end, this would be one of Johnny's jokes. You know, Ed went shopping during the pandemic, and the funny thing is, more women recognized him with a mask on. That's basically it. I think someone led you down the garden path. Those weren't great impressions, but you know, when you're in a pandemic, comedians were used to doing comedy. I'm talking to myself, which is great when you're in the store and you have a mask on. I'm just mumbling to myself, so no one thinks you're that crazy.
Yeah. So as a comedian, and I'm so jealous of comics, because anybody that's been to my show knows how poorly I do at it, and I've been trying for years, and you know, I can always get out of a bad joke by playing the piano. You know, it's sort of the plan B or whatever. But I want to know, what's the worst heckling experience you've ever had? How do you deal with those hecklers?
Well, I've had some pretty good hecklers, and I usually I don't fight fire with fire. I fight it with water. I put them.
Throw water at them.
Yeah, and the language is not good, but
Yeah.
it's effective. But I had one woman in Edinburgh just yell at me till I finally just left the stage. It's the first time in my career I just walked off.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal. I mean, hecklers are people who are insecure. They want to be comedians, but they don't have the balls to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that because if I wasn't a comedian, I'd be a heckler.
You've played San Antonio.
Yeah, I did Cap Cities back in the day, around the turn of the century, maybe 2001. I think it was Cap Cities, but yeah, I went down to the Riverwalk and saw the beautiful concrete banks of the river, and you know, I had an Alamo burger, Alamo fries, Alamo everything. I know you got the piano from Alamo Music.
We sure did.
I think it's easier to find places in San Antonio that don't have Alamo in front of it. The Alamo hyphen, I know it's popular, but I played Dallas and San Antonio and Austin, and I love Texas audiences because they're not politically correct. I live in California, you know, especially in Santa Monica, where if the avocado toast man bun ratio is off, people go nuts.
Yeah.
So, and you guys have recreational marijuana in Texas?
Oh, I wouldn't know about that.
But you're a jazz musician, Doc.
Call me later.
Okay. Have you ever? Let me turn the tables on you. Have you ever smoked pot? Have you ever smoked pot?
Call me after the show, okay? Let's meet up in Albuquerque, okay? It seems like an equidistant point for the both. Can we go to Albuquerque? Is that a safe place?
Albuquerque. I was just in Albuquerque in January. It's a lovely town.
Nice. So last question, Allan. You did the Johnny Carson. What would Johnny Carson think about the Doc Watkins Show?
You cats really know how to swing. You know what? The thing is, what you're doing is really difficult. Except the music sounds great and that, but when you're talking and you don't have that audience feedback,
Yeah.
so you don't really know how lame your jokes are.
No, I do.
You know, no, actually,
on a scale of 100, it's 1,000.
I was sitting here laughing, but it's really difficult to do it, especially in that venue, and not have a live audience there. So, but I think it's a really good show. I've seen a few of these Facebook shows,
Yeah.
you know, and you guys, you got it together.
Oh, well, thank you, Allan. You've been a treat. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the show. Best of luck with everything. Stay safe.
Thank
you
you.
know, we hope to see you in person here. Yeah.
You're not going to ask me what I got coming up?
What do you got coming up? I just asked you that.
Nothing. I'm going nowhere. This is it. I'm back at home. This is the most fun I've had. Don't take me off the show.
That's why
I got a boatload. Oh, here's one I didn't tell. I have a 91-year-old father-in-law, and for the last 6 weeks, I've been feeding him with a selfie stick. The best damn joke I got. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Allan, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
Allan Havey, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Allan.
Thank you.
Allan Havey, everybody. All right. It was my turn to put the headphones on. If we don't have if somebody doesn't have the headphones on, you know, we get problems. So, okay, all right, we're going to get to some music here, and we want to do a song for you now that this is an anniversary song. Speaking of Alamo music, this next song goes out to Kevin and Monica Higgins, who are celebrating their #1 anniversary, their first anniversary. So, happy anniversary, guys. Congratulations. This one goes out to you. Beautiful tune called My Funny Valentine. My Funny Valentine. That one goes out to Kevin and to Monica Higgins on their first anniversary. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we've got a new segment as of last show. We're going to do round 2 of it for you tonight. We know that a lot of you are stuck at home trying to find interesting and fun things to do to keep you busy and occupied, like playing board games and other such activities. Here at Jazz Texas, we've come up with our own board game that you can play along right at home with us. It's called The Board Game, and we're going to show you how to play it in just a second. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I give you The Board Game. Now, you know how the board game works. We pick 2 famous people who are very boring, and then we contrast and compare them, and then I get to decide who's the biggest bore. So tonight on the board game, who's more boring, Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulroney? Well, on the one hand, Dylan McDermott's a 58-year-old actor known best for playing Bobby Donnell on the legal drama series The Practice. McDermott is also known for his role on American Horror Story. I've never actually seen it, but I hear it's a horror series. McDermott was nominated for a Best Actor Emmy Award, but he lost. Then he was also a finalist in GQ's Man of the Year issue, but he also lost that one. He was born in Connecticut, and it's all fairly boring. On the other hand, Dermot Mulroney is a 56-year-old actor and musician, best known for his roles in films like Young Guns, My Best Friend's Wedding, and Angels in the Outfield, which I assume is a film about baseball. Mulroney is an accomplished cellist. He was also married to actress Catherine Keener, and he once made People Magazine's Sexiest Man of the Year issue, but I honestly don't really find him to be that sexy. So it's a tough call on this one, guys, but if you had to pick who bores you the most, Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulroney, the correct answer is Dermot Mulroney. And thanks for playing the board game. And back to the music. All right, this next tune goes out to Mr. Mario Guerra. No relation to Brandon Guerra. It's his 71st birthday, and we want to send this one out to you. Happy birthday, Mario. This is a little Fly Me to the Moon. Here goes. Thank you very much, everybody. That's Fly Me to the Moon. And that one goes out to Mario on his 71st birthday. All right, this next tune is one of our favorites. It's a tune by Tom Waits called Picture in a Frame. And I want to dedicate this one to Liz and Gil and also to Christy. Christy, thanks so much for the request on Facebook. And hope you all enjoyed this one. It's a beautiful Tom Waits tune. Here goes. Sun come up, it was blue and gold. Sun come up, it was blue and gold. Sun come up, it was blue and gold. Ever since I put your picture in a frame, I come calling in my Sunday best. I come calling in my Sunday best. I come calling in my Sunday best. Ever since I put your picture in a frame, I'm gonna love you till the wheels come on. Oh yeah. You know I love you and I always will. You know I love you and I always will. I love you and I always will. Ever since I put your picture in a frame. Oh yeah. You know I love you, I always will. You know I love you, and I always will. You know I love you, and I always will. Ever since I put your picture in a frame. Ever since I put your picture in a frame. Oh yeah. Picture in a Frame by Tom Waits. Thank you very much, everyone. All right, well, we got time to do just one more tune for you all this evening before it's time to say goodnight. We want to remind you that we're live streaming here from Jazz Texas every Tuesday and Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time, Texas time, so make sure and tune in on Tuesday night. This coming Tuesday, we have special guest vocalist and architect Jonathan Card and also Tommy Tardy, who's a jazz club owner, bar and restaurant owner in New York City. A good friend of mine has two beautiful jazz clubs that we're going to hear from him and see how he's doing out there. And so make sure and tell your friends, share the event, and share the video around, and tune in on Tuesday night. We'd like to close out this program. Oh, by the way, we want to give one last shout-out to my main man over there on the camera, Mr. Chris Zients. Science! Thank you, Chris. Check him out, Wizard Broadcasting. We'd like to leave you with this one final tune from the 1930s called Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Once again, that's Mike Porter on the bass. To my left, Brandon Guerra back there on the drums. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's been a lot of fun hanging with you guys and getting to catch up again. Make sure and tune in on Tuesday night. Keep sending those special requests your way. We're going to try and get to as many as humanly possible. We've got a long list, and we're working through it, but we want to hear more requests from you, and we'd love to hear how you're doing. So hit us up on Instagram and on Facebook and send us a message, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Good night.